Hello guys, welcome back once again. In this part, we will complete our update and delete functionality for our application. And in our previous part, we have retrieved our data from our Firebase database. Okay. So now for edit and update, we need to create a new layout. So you can call it update layout, and we will need same layout that we have used for our input layout. So add linear layout, and we need to add orientation vertical and change the height to wrap content. And now what we can do, we can simply copy all this data from our input layout that we have created previously, and now we can simply copy all this thing. We just need to change something, so we just need to change some data and paste it here. And what we can do in here, we can say update your data instead of add. So update your data, done. And if you want, we can change the ID name. So we can simply say title UPD, and for description we can say description UPD. If you want, you can use same ID name, it's up to you. And for this linear layout, we can say budget is going to be UPD. All right. And now what we need to do, what we can say, we need to add another linear layout. So this time we will add two buttons. So simply same thing, copy a linear layout that we have added previously, and instead of text, so what we will do, we will remove this text and we will add button. So cut this button and paste it here. And what we need to do, we need to add same button here. Okay, so now we need to change the layout weight. So we can say, so layout weight is going to be 2. Okay, now we can see same size, same space. Okay, so now I think we need to change our text, and we can say this one is going to be delete, and this one is going to be and button delete UPD, and for this button is going to be, and this one is going to be update, and it's going to be btn. You can say btn update UPD. So btn update UPD, and go to this text. Okay, so I think our design is ready. Now we can start working for our update process. So in here we need to add a set on listener for each and every user ID. So beholder.mView, this mView is a instance of our view class that we have created. Now mView.set on click listener, new on click listener, and this view is this view. Okay, you need to add this so that you can access all this field. All right, now we need to create some global variable to store all this data that we are getting from our Firebase database, and we will set it. So what we can do, so create, and we can say a global variable, and we need to add, we can call it string. So private string, and we can say title and private string, and we can say, and we can say description and a private string, and this one is for budget, and private string, this one is for our post key. Okay, all right. Now inside this beholder class, we need to first we need to get our post key. So post key is equal to get reference, this one is going to be for a position dot get key. Okay, now we need to add our title is equal to model dot get title. All right, no problem. And for this description is going to be model dot get description, and budget is equal to model dot get budget. So budget is going to be model dot get budget. Okay, all right. And now we need to create a new method, so we can call it public void, and we can say update data. And in here we need to call this method. So whenever we will click any of these item, and then we will get this, then we will call this method. And now in here we need to create our alert dialog, and we need to set our update layout that we have just created. Okay, so how we can do this? So we need to add alert dialog dot builder. So alert dialog dot builder is going to be my dialog is equal to new alert dialog dot builder, and we need to add these views, and we need to use our layout inflator. So layout inflator is going to be layout inflator dot from, and this, and we need to create an object of our view class. So view is going to my view is equal to inflator dot inflate. Now we need to add our layout, so r dot layout dot, and we can say update layout, and second parameter is going to be null. We need to pass it as null. Okay, and we need to use our dialog dot set view, and we need to set our my view. Okay, all right. And now we need to use our alert dialog. So alert dialog is equal to new alert dialog, and it's not new alert dialog. We need to use, so we need to use alert dialog my dialog dot create, and we can use this dialog to show this dialog. Okay, so dialog dot show. And now we need to add our all these input fields. So edit text is going to be, and this edit text is going to be, and this edit text is going to be m title is going to be my view dot find view by id r dot id dot. So r dot id dot title upd, and this edit text is going to be m description is going to be our this my view. So my view dot find view by id r dot id dot, and we can say description upd, and another edit text is going to be m budget is going to be my view dot, so my view dot find view by id m budget my view dot find view by id r dot id dot budget upd, that is our id name. And we need to connect our two button. So button is going to be what we can say, and we can say btn btn save is going to be myview.findView by id r.id. And we can say btn save and button is going to be btn delete. I think for this one is update for not save and this one is for delete. So btn delete is equal to myview.findView by id r.id. So r.id btn delete upd. Now btn update set on click listener set on click listener is going to be new on click listener, and we need to dismiss our dialog. So dialog.dismiss, and we need to use same thing for our button delete. So btn delete set on click listener is going to be new on click listener, and we need to dismiss our dialog. So dialog.dismiss. Now we need to set all this data inside this our edit text so that we can update. So what we can say, we need to set our server data to this server data inside edit text, and remember we are store all this data inside our this global variable. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to use this title. So mtitle dot set text is going to be our this mtitle, this title, not mtitle, and our mtitle dot set selection, and we need to use this title dot length so that our cursor will start from at the cursor will start at the end of this length of this title text. Okay, so now mDescription dot set text, and this one is going to be for our description. So mDescription dot set selection is going to be description dot length. All right, now we need to use our budget. So mbudget is going to be, so mbudget dot set text is going to be budget, and our budget dot set text set selection, this budget dot length. All right, it's all done. Now we need to add, okay, so now if we run this application, hopefully we will be able to see our server data inside our edit text. Okay, let's check it again, and now hit this run button. Hopefully this time we will be able to see this. And it will take few time to complete this Gradle build process. Okay, now I think it's done. Now if we click any of these items, now we can see our all this data, and our cursor is started at the end. Okay, all this. Now if we click this button, now our data will not be updated, and the reason is that we did not set it yet. So you can see for each and every item we can see different data. All right, so it's working perfectly. Okay, now it's time to set this update data to our database. So now inside this button update, what we need to do, so inside this button update we need to use this title that we are getting. We need to use same variable name, same global variable. So this title dot mtitle dot get text dot toString dot trim, and this one is for when user will write their update data, then we will store this data inside this global variable, and where we get all this data from our server. Okay, so now description is going to be mDescription.getText.toString.trim, and budget is equal to mbudget.getText.toString.trim. Okay, now what we can say, and in here we need to use our string variable, so string, and we can say mDate is going to be, so date format dot get date instance dot format, and is going to be new date. All right, and data is going to be, so data is going to be data, and this one is going to be new data. As now we need to pass all this field, so title and description and our budget and our post key, that is our ID, and our mDate. Okay, now we need to use our same database name, that is our mDatabase, and this time our child is going to be our post key, because we need to set our data inside the same post key. So post key dot set value, and value is going to be our this data. Okay, so I think all done. Now we can run this application again. Hopefully this time we will be able to set our data. So here you can see our data now. Let's try to do update. So change it to, so title is Firebase, and description is, we can say we are learning Firebase, and budget is going to be, budget choose 823567, and okay, and update it. And for budget, what we need to do, we can say same, and now it's working, so we can update our all this data. Okay, so we have successfully completed this functionality, and if we click this delete button, now do one thing, add few more. And we can say Flutter, and description is going to be, and we have to both, and we can say description is going to be, we can build app, and what we can say, we can build app using Flutter, and budget is going to be, and that's going to be, and you can say the data is saved. Now we can see all this data, but still our delete functionality is not working, so we need to implement our delete functionality. So inside this button delete, what we need to do, we need to use our database name, so our database dot, so mDatabase dot child, and the child is going to be our post key, because we need to delete each and every post key data, and dot remove value, and this single line of code will able to delete this data for each and every item. Okay, and now if we, now what we need to do, we need to run this application. Because we did not run it yet, so child post key, and run it again, and hopefully this time we will be able to see this. And now here is our application. Now try to delete and add some random text and save, and let's try to delete it. So delete. Now data deleted. So we have successfully implemented our update and delete functionality. And in our next part, what we will do, we will complete our login functionality. So add few more item, and you can see all this functionality done. So I hope you learn how to do all this thing. So now we have completed our application. Now we just need to add logout functionality. So we will complete it in our next part. Now delete this, now delete, and now delete. Okay, so I think that's it for this part. We will continue it from our next part. Thank you.